Hello and welcome to Galactic Goddess Podcast and TV. I'm your host, Radha Nelia, and today we have a very special guest, Miss Kris Seraphine-Oster. And she's a Ph.D., and I'm going to let you share about you, and please say your name.
That was really great. You did great. It's kind of a mouthful. So my maiden name is Seraphine. And my married name, I'm not married anymore, but my married name is Oster. And I love both names because Seraphine comes from the word seraph, which means it's a hierarchy of angels. You know, Saint Michael and the archangels are part of the seraph family of angels. And then Oster is a German name that means basically Eostre or Ostara. It comes from the East. So it's talking about that rebirth and fertility. So I figured I'll put them together.
I love it. That is beautiful.
But it is a mouthful. So thank you for tackling that. I know it's like, what's that word?
I know people
and I got my PhD like 2010. It was kind of a road. I started in 2002, but I did get married and have a baby in that whole time. And I was working full time in the corporate world, in entertainment corporate, and also for Citrix Online. They make GoToMeeting, GoToMyPC, those kind of virtual meeting tools. So I had this whole background in corporate, but and in entertainment, but I really have always been a scholar at heart. And so I decided to go back to school in my 30s, and I went to study at Pacifica Graduate Institute, and my major was mythological studies with an emphasis in depth psychology, so Jungian psychology and archetypal psychology. Part of that was because I've been in marketing since, I think I started at E! Entertainment Television when I was about 28 or 27 years old. So that was about 20 years ago. Where does the time go? And everything we do in marketing can be related to archetype, can be related somehow to Jungian psychology, amongst other things. And it's all about creativity and imagination. So I really wanted to deepen what I knew about those topics. And then, not to say that I've always necessarily have chosen marketing. It just kind of chose me in some weird way, marketing and branding, but it was definitely a natural fit. And, since I was a child, I've always wanted to be a writer. I mean, and that's my main thing. I'm a copywriter now. I'm a business strategist and coach for women. And, I love what I do. And I find that education only made me better at my job. And I love teaching. Teaching is and like one of my loves. I think you're the same way, Radha. You love teaching as well. And part of what you're doing here is a lot about sharing knowledge with other women in particular, and whoever is open to the work that we're doing.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, such an honor. I mean, you're an amazing woman. You always inspire me. You have such a youthful, gorgeous energy. And we were just talking about this, like the great thing about becoming a woman and, going through the cycle is that you learn so much. But then when you take in the practices of self-care and the spiritual aspect of it too, I really think as well, it kind of gives you this inner glow. So it's almost like you're going back in time, but you just have more of the knowledge that you carry with you. And I think that is the new wave that we are working towards. But today we're going to talk about the 3 easy steps to stay resilient and radiant, as we talked about, during challenging times, because that is a very important topic. So take it away, Kris.
Okay, you got it. So aside from just the fact that we are in challenging times, so to speak, politically, on the personal level, not to say that we're not affected by all that, but we, especially as women entrepreneurs, we're so busy. We have to-do lists that are a mile long. I don't care, I've got a 10-year-old daughter. So, I mean, I'm homeschooling her. I'm a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I never get help. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like you guys, whether you have kids or not, women entrepreneurs, men entrepreneurs, we're busy people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know any entrepreneurs that don't have a really long to-do list. Even if they don't keep it,
yeah,
they have a lot of shit to get done all the time. And so I've seen this time and time again with so many women in particular, like asking me, isn't there a better way? Like, what's the paradigm? What's the feminine way of doing business so we don't burn out? And then, there's that conversation that happens. And the other conversation that happens is, well, you have to be more and do less. And, and slay your to-do list and go for it. So we get a lot of conflicting messages.
Yes.
And it really just contributes to our overwhelm.
Yeah.
And I think, you're nodding your head. So I think this is kind of a universal experience for women business owners. And even if you're a CEO of maybe someone else's business, or you work in someone else's business, you in the modern workplace, even in the corporate world, what we're seeing is that people have to have this kind of entrepreneurial spirit, this little spark to survive even in corporate, a corporate structure. So I feel like that's kind of encapsulating the problem. So then there's what I try to tell people to do is, okay, yeah, you're in overwhelm. You've got this long to-do list. And, the thing is, it's not quite so easy to go, yeah, I'm just going to be. And, hope that these things get done. And, that kind of wishful thinking does not make for successful entrepreneurs.
I'm laughing because that'd be so great. Magically just drop down. I'm just going to be, and it's all going to drop in my lap. There's a definite balance.
Yeah. But you do need to be present and be in the presence and be in the being to also be in the flow, which is essential to success. So what I've been teaching for the past probably 6 years, and I teach a lot of different kinds of courses, some business and marketing and some more about the archetypal aspects of pleasure. So, but the methodology is kind of the same, no matter where you're feeling overwhelmed in your life. And so I've kind of come up with my 3-step thing. Everybody's got their thing. And sometimes, I can break it down even more or less. But basically, what I show people in my courses and what I want to share with all of you guys, because this is something you could try at home, on your own. You don't need me or any course to teach you this, because you have a lot of these tools already, which is a beautiful thing. So the first thing is, you obviously get back to your body. And our bodies and our minds and our souls are all connected. There's no separation. So the first step is always, to me, to come up with a disciplined practice of a pranayama, so breath work, whatever it is that works for you, and combined with a meditation. So it could be a breathwork meditation where you're breathing into your chakras. It could be, alternate nostril breathing. It could be just focusing on your breath as you inhale for 4 breaths, hold for 4 breaths. Really simple, and if you guys don't know how to do that, you could look to Radha. She'll teach you how to do that. It's very kind of one of those basic practices. So that's always step 1 to me. Just get that basic discipline practice down. The second step is, to me, sensual pleasure. So pleasure has a lot of faces to people. And, there's not one right way to pleasure yourself. Some people, they love their yoni egg. I've really gotten into the yoni egg recently, just really gotten into that. it could be just abhyanga, which is a hot oil massage. They do a lot in Ayurveda, but you could just really, you can get coconut oil. And if you don't have time to heat it up, you warm it up in your hands and you just really slowly, making sure you take nice deep breaths. And breast massage for women, really important. Not only just for the breast health, and it moves the lymph and the toxins out, and it can help prevent cancer, breast cancer. It's directly connected to your heart chakra. And then if you do any sort of nipple stimulation, that gets even more of these, what I would call like pleasure neurochemicals, neurochemicals that your brain releases and your body releases when you touch yourself. So I always tell people, pleasure yourself. And that could mean, yes, your genitals. It could mean your breasts. It could just mean your scalp. I mean, there's so many points in your scalp and your ears, and, and movement and dancing, that's, there's so much pleasure to be found in the body. Drumming. I love drumming too. So the second step is, how do you shift into sensual pleasure that releases these neurochemicals? So now what we're basically doing between those two steps is stacking up, slowing down the brain, which we know kind of starts to get us into those slower brain waves. And when they talk about being in a flow state, you want to be between, the, I believe it's the alpha and the theta states. So you want to be, I think it's like 7 point something, cycles of the brainwave. And then you're in that perfect gap to be in the flow. So the first step will get you closer to that place. And then on top of that, you start pouring all these beautiful body chemicals that your body naturally makes for pleasure. I always have to read my list because there is just so many different chemicals. Where is it?
I just ordered some.
So endorphins, norepinephrine, dopamine, anandamide, and serotonin. Those are like the main, like, ultimate pleasure neurochemicals, but they're also the ultimate performance enhancers. So it's like you're just stacking up all of these amazing things to put you in this state of presence that is not only a state of flow, but this very, I think, feminine. And even if you're a man watching this, for men, getting out of that, that kind of regimented sort of thinking, because we could take these practices and get too regimented with them. And that kind of defeats the purpose. So the final step in my series, and I think most people can get this done in 20 minutes. And sometimes I have to do it in 10 minutes or less because I have a busy schedule. Whatever it is, I find that when I do this, whatever I apply that energy to, my life flows easier. I'm more creative. I'm more innovative, and I'm having fun. Right? Okay. So the step 3, I think, is really important because it's something that I think we're taught once we become mature adults, that we're not supposed to use our imagination, that we're not supposed to play anymore, that we're, that this whole idea of visualizing is silly and childish. But really, again, those childlike things that we did, it does, again, it brings us back to this same sort of, brainwave gap, and it just creates more opening. I guess that's a good way to say it. So the third step to me is using your imagination through visualization practices. And a lot of times what I'll do is visualize I teach a lot of archetypes, so I really go in and visit with those inner archetypes, or I'll just relax and say, okay, who wants to come forward? You know,
Mm.
maybe it's Aphrodite one day, maybe it's Kali one day, whatever
Mm-hmm.
needs to come forward to be addressed, whatever aspect of myself, it's going to come forward. And then I can have a dialogue with that inner being. I can have playtime, just laughing with them, or just being in their presence. And a lot of times I'll just feel like a shower of gold, especially like the Aphrodite and
Yes.
different kinds of Shakti energies, right? Do you notice that too?
Yeah, I notice a lot of gold streaming in. Well, I do goddess activations, and so it's very much similar about the archetypes, activating inner archetypes. And so, yeah, the gold comes in and just showers, and that feels so refreshing. It feels so healing, deeply healing on a very cellular, soulful level too.
Yeah, so that's the 3 steps I wanted to share with you and your lovely viewers, and I hope that it gives them just something to ponder in case they've never tried combining those things, because that's the point is, and we talk about how to stay radiant and resilient and innovative and continually create during difficult times of sadness, emotional turbulence, disappointment, you know. Part of being an entrepreneur, we have to face failure, and we have to take risks, and things don't always work out the way we want. So I think this helps, you know, bypass fear. It bypasses a lot of different resistances, and it does make you more resilient. And, you know, I feel like when I do these things, I am more radiant. And you're seeing that because I did a lot of this work this morning. I did more than a half hour. I had the time to really, before you spoke, to do, you know, not only do my practice, but maybe do a little Pilates, you know. It's like whenever you're doing something with the body,
it just makes you feel so much more relaxed. I just really, really love that, these reminders. The meditation and the breathing I do. I'm going to start implementing the body massage more. I just ordered from Ayurveda a whole bunch of like different oils, sesame oil to help soothe your nervous system and relax. So thank you for that reminder, because I'm like, yes. And after my next bath, I'm going to do that. So beautiful. And, you know, these reminders are so helpful because, you know, as women entrepreneur, you sometimes forget, and these little reminders just activate, like, yes. And I'm always so much more productive after I've done something good for myself, when I've taken a great walk or exercise or had even after a massage, I get so much more creative ideas because the energy is flowing. So this is brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing. And, you know, you're doing all this creative work. Tell us what your next thing is that you're doing.
Well, I'm just getting ready to publish a book called Unbound. And so I have created a course around it, and it's a full year course. And it's absolutely wonderful because I've made it really accessible. So it's super low price, and it's very, it moves slow. So you're getting new material every month for 12 months. And so you have a whole month to really, you know, immerse yourself in the practices and see, oh, what comes out of this for me? And a lot of journaling and a lot of work around pleasure archetypes and looking at them. And I bring in both the masculine and the feminine archetypes as lovers. So let's say, you know, we have the ecstatic lover, to me, is this particular pleasure archetype. The wild, I have a different one that's more about nature and being grounded. So I have these different subsets of almost like vessels, like containers. And then, you know, depending on, you know, what you are drawn to personally, like some people are really drawn to more of the Hindu gods and goddesses. Some people are more the Greek, African, Tahitian, Hawaiian, Celtic. There's so many different ones. So I try to use all of that knowledge I have and put them in these vessels. So the ecstatic lover could be Dionysus and Ariadne, for example. And to me, the balance between masculine and feminine is really important. And if we look at a lot of these cultures, they are not just goddesses or gods, you know.
Yeah.
We could look at the more patriarchal ones. Yeah, definitely they're elevating the gods. But, you know, in this particular course that I'm doing called the Unbound Experience, it is about really coming back into balance with yourself and learning how to access those parts that are really magical in you. And, you know, you do work with archetypes, and that is a part of that magic because it gets you out of your head in the sense of like that monkey mind sort of thinking. It gets you more in your body and looking at things from a perspective that maybe it's kind of indirect. So you're approaching problems, but you're approaching it through the lens and the mirror of a beautiful god or goddess or a combination of them, and seeing how that is reflected back to you, that it is you, it is within you, and it is without. So it's a big part of what we do. So it's each month you get a new chapter, you get a new special magical visualization practice, some body ritual practices, and then I'm also a clairvoyant tarot reader. So I'm going to do surprise pop-ups where I do things for everybody, and we'll do group rituals throughout the year. So it will be a lovely experience.
I love that. I love that. You know what I really enjoy is that with this technology, we can come from all over the world and come together. And I think it's so healthy to find, you know, these little sacred sanctuaries is what I call them, online portals where you can, you know, find your tribe. And I think that more than ever, we're needing to connect with our tribe as we're growing and shifting and moving through so much energy and belief systems. It's really nice to have that support around you, holding you through the process, and like-minded people. I value that so much, you know, and it's so convenient because I love how you can just do everything from like your home now. I'm in the Appalachian Mountains, so I'm just like, it's great. I can talk to anybody around the world through Zoom or calls. You know, we have this technology and we can use it to connect in a heart-centered way. It doesn't have to stop us from growing and having that really amazing connection and soul sisters in our tribe. So this sounds amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'll post that link below, guys, so you'll be able to contact Kris. And thank you so much for coming on. I just love your energy, everything that you're about. You're a mermaid goddess.
Thank you, beautiful Radha. Thank you.
It's such an honor to know you. It makes me happy to know women like you because it's, you know, we're world-changing women. And everyone's doing their part to participate in helping to elevate, inspire. And that's what it's really all about. We're a collective community. And so your presence is valued, and I'm honored to know you. Thank you for coming on today, and sending you all so much love and blessings. Mwah.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye, Radha.
Bye.
Thank you so much.